plan to continue exercising our constitutional rights, defending civil rights, and speaking truth to power, whether in defense of free speech, religious freedom, and racial equality here in Texas or in defense of human rights abroad. The Muslim Legal Fund of America, the CAIR Legal Defense Fund, and Akil and Valentine PLC yesterday announced that they have filed a federal lawsuit against Texas Governor Greg Abbott and Attorney General Ken Paxton to block enforcement of Abbott's unconstitutional and defamatory November 18th proclamation, which falsely declared the Texas chapter of the Council on American-Islamic Relations a foreign terrorist organization, and threatened various civil penalties against the civil rights organization if it continues to serve the people of Texas. With that, I invite several members of the Texas community to speak to demonstrate the point that this isn't about CAIR, this isn't about Muslims, this is about all Americans' right to the freedom of speech and the right to political dissent. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Amjad Muhtasib. That's AMJAD MUHTASEB, and I'm here representing MAS, the Muslim American Society for Houston. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace be with you, brothers and sisters and friends. Thank you for being here today. Our community is facing serious, unprecedented challenges this week. Governor Abbott recent proclamation directly target Muslim organizations and Muslim civil lives in Texas. As Texans and as American Muslim, we cannot allow this moment to pass without clarity and without any courage. The claim made in this proclamation include labeling respected Muslim organizations as international terrorist groups, or suggesting that we are attempting to impose Sharia law. Are not only false, they are rooted in long-standing of anti-Muslim conspiracy theories. They undermine the safety of our community and distort the truth about who we are. Our mosques, our charities, our civic organization, our community institutions operate lawfully, transparently, and proudly in service to both Muslims and non-Muslims across the state of Texas. We are doctors, we are teachers, we are business owners, we are public servants, and we are men and women serving in the United States Armed Forces who protected and defended this country every day. We contribute to the well-being, safety, and prosperity of this state in countless ways. CAIR and CAIR Texas and MFLA have already taken necessary legal steps to challenge this proclamation in court, not only to defend Muslim organization, but to defend the constitutional rights of all Texans. This is not just a Muslim issue, this is an American issue. At the moment like this, unity matters, principle matters, and support matters. So today we stand shoulders to shoulders with CAIR Texas. We reject Governor Abbott's false accusation, and we affirm our commitment to justice, to civic engagement, and to the freedom that defines this nation. Finally, I encourage our community, if you are able to support CAIR, CAIR Texas, and MFLA, their work is essential, especially when our rights and institutions are under direct attack. We are equal Texans. We are equal Americans. We serve to contribute and we belong. And we will continue to stand for the truth, dignity, and justice for all. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
It's a tight room, so that's why we're doing this.
Thank you all for coming. Good afternoon. My name is...
You can't, the paper will make it horizontal.
Sorry.
Okay, thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Murtaza Sutarwala. That's Murtaza I am the president of the Muslim Bar Association of Houston. I'm also an attorney here in Houston, and I'm also a former Deputy Attorney General for the state of Texas. The Muslim Bar Association of Houston condemns Governor Greg Abbott's proclamation designating CAIR as a terrorist organization. This designation is unconstitutional, unsupported by any credible factual basis, and represents bigotry on its face. It stigmatizes an entire community and chills the First Amendment rights of Muslim Texans and all organizations engaged in lawful advocacy. We further reject the governor's repeated claims that Sharia law is banned in Texas. No such ban exists, nor could one constitutionally exist. Muslims, like all Americans, retain the right to practice their faith, to resolve personal and religious matters according to their traditions, and to engage in religious expression free from state hostility. The Muslim Bar Association of Houston will stand firmly against any attempt, direct or indirect, to interfere with the First Amendment rights of Muslims in Texas. Islamophobia has no place in a just and civil society, much less in the policy decisions of our elected officials. As lawyers, we're especially troubled that this action comes from a former justice of the Texas Supreme Court and a long-standing member of the Texas Bar. Such conduct is unbecoming of the legal profession and inconsistent with the oath we take to uphold the Constitution. And I'll end with, CAIR has served for decades as a lawful civil rights organization in the footsteps of other such esteemed organizations such as the NAACP, MALDEF, ADL, and others. They advocate for the rights and dignities of Muslim Americans, but in fact, they have fought not only for Muslim Americans, but for all Americans, because an unconstitutional attack on any one of us is an attack on all of us. The Muslim Bar Association of Houston again calls on Governor Abbott to rescind this proclamation, to stop wasting time with inflammatory and discriminatory rhetoric, and get to the job to help all Texans. We stand with CAIR, Muslims, and all Texans who stand for justice and equal protection under the law. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Michelle McKeska, M-I-C-H-E-L-L-E, McKeska, M-I-K-E-S-K-A, and I am with the Fort Bend Coalition for Justice. Good morning. My name is Michelle McKeska, and I am one of the founding members of the Fort Bend Coalition for Justice. Our coalition was founded by both Muslims and non-Muslims with the goal of seeking justice and equal rights for all. My Muslim sisters could not be here this morning, and so I am speaking on their behalf today. To my Muslim brothers and sisters, let me say this. Our community is facing a serious challenge this week from Governor Abbott's latest proclamation targeting Muslim organizations and Muslim civic life in Texas. This proclamation is based on false accusations and anti-Muslim conspiracy theories, including claims that Muslim organizations are foreign terrorist groups or trying to impose Sharia law. These accusations are false and deeply damaging. It makes me think that Governor Abbott has not had the same pleasure that I have had of getting to know my Muslim brothers and sisters. If he did, he would know that they are honest, hardworking Americans, just like you and I, who want their rights equally protected under the law. This is the vital service that CAIR and other Muslim civil rights organizations provide. I have been to many mosques and have had the privilege of witnessing my Muslim brethren practicing their faith. And even though I am not a member of their faith, I have always been treated with kindness, respect, and hospitality that would put our own Christian churches to shame. Their mosques, charities, and community institutions are lawful, transparent, and serve Muslims and non-Muslims alike. CAIR, Texas, and MLFA have filed a lawsuit to challenge this proclamation and defend the constitutional rights of all Texans. At a moment like this, it is vital that we support organizations defending our rights. Muslims in Texas are citizens, taxpayers, professionals, students, families, and public servants. They are part of the fabric of this state and deserve dignity and safety like everyone else. If a governor can target Muslim nonprofits today, he can target other communities tomorrow. This issue affects all Texans, not only Muslims. We encourage everyone to stay informed, to reach out to your state representatives, to ask them to reject this proclamation and defend the rights of all Texans. This is a moment for unity. When we stand together as a community, no political pressure can divide us. I have a master's degree in Christian theology and taught Bible for 5 years at a private Christian school. So I can say with confidence that Christians have an honored place in the Muslim faith. We are called the people of the book, and Jesus is seen as a great prophet. As such, I humbly offer my hand of friendship and solidarity and challenge everyone of all faiths to do the same. This is about freedom of speech and freedom of religion, and we must unite together and fight for those rights. Thank you.
Thank you. Can we have the person who knocked come in? They're gone?
All right, as you see, we're listening into this event that's coming to us out of the Houston, Texas area, as this Muslim civil rights group is now suing Texas Governor Greg Abbott. This is after Governor Abbott did declare the group a foreign terrorist and criminal organization earlier this week. We're going to slide away for a quick 2-minute commercial break. Thanks for being with us here on Live Now from Fox. I'm your host, Christina Evans. We do want to continue on with our top stories that we're following. We were listening into that event coming to us out of Houston, Texas. We're going to go back to that in just a second. But first, here on Live Now, I want to show you some of the other vantage points that we have. You can see this live look that we have right now outside of the White House. That's the White House stakeout cameras as this group of microphones is there. We do know that President Trump is expected to meet with Mayor-elect of New York City, Zoran Mamdani. That meeting is right now slated as closed press. But in case anybody makes any remarks there outside of the White House, it's set to get underway at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Well, let's go ahead and continue on, heading back there to the Houston, Texas area. As again, we're listening into this Muslim civil rights group known as CAIR now suing Texas Governor Greg Abbott. This is after the governor did declare the group a foreign terrorist and criminal organization.
CAIR Texas and the Muslim Legal Fund of America, MLFA, have filed a lawsuit to challenge this proclamation and defend the constitutional rights of all Texans and of all Americans. The stakes are clear. If a governor can arbitrarily target Muslim nonprofits today, he'll feel emboldened to target other communities tomorrow. We encourage everyone to stay informed, remain calm, and reach out respectfully to your state representatives to ask them to reject this proclamation and defend the rights of all Texans. Furthermore, at moments like this, it's vital that we support the organizations defending our rights. We implore our community to continue unwavering support for CAIR and CAIR Texas and MLFA through donations and through volunteering so they can continue their work protecting our community and upholding justice. This is a moment for unity. When we stand together as a community, no political pressure can divide us. ICNA stands in unwavering solidarity with CAIR in all communities targeted by this abuse of power. We ask Allah to protect our community, strengthen our hearts, guide our leaders, and preserve the rights and dignity of all people in Texas and in the United States of America. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Sania Rahim. It's spelled S-A-N-I-A. Last name is spelled R-A-H-I-M. And I'm here today to represent the organization CPRE. We are a young organization who's focused on advocacy work with the Muslim community and for the Muslim community. We're here today to combat the claim that CAIR, a civil rights organization that has operated in the United States for for over 30 years, one which is staffed by Americans and serves Americans, is a foreign terrorist group. An allegation that was made without evidence, and one that was also made without concern for the ramifications such a statement would have on the Muslim community. Muslims make up less than 1% of the nation's population, but we have a lot in common with other targeted and scapegoated groups, whether it was the Jewish people in Germany or trans people and immigrants in Texas today. We are a small minority with the same aspirations as any American: life, liberty, and prosperity. But for entirely political reasons, we have been scapegoated as a source of what's wrong in Texas. I'm a lifelong Texan, and I can tell you, Muslims are not what's wrong with Texas. I can assure you that, like most Texans, Muslims are kind, charitable, diverse in thought and in background, but one thing we have almost universally in common is hospitality. Don't believe me? I encourage you to come to a mosque during Ramadan and leave without having plates of food or chai pressed into your hands and blessings heaped on your head. As a community, we have nothing to hide, so we are very pleased to see that the CAIR and CAIR Texas and MLFA have filed a lawsuit to challenge this proclamation and defend the constitutional rights of all Texans. They can't do this important work without us, and whether it's bringing attention to this cause or your financial support, the Muslim community today truly needs your help. As an aside, please check on your Muslim friends and neighbors. This has been a deeply disheartening few days as Islamophobia is at a fever pitch. As a community, we are strong, and we've weathered many significant challenges, and we too will weather this. If you're able to, please consider donating to CAIR Texas, and MLFA so we can continue this work, protecting our community and upholding justice. Muslims and Texans are citizens, and good ones at that. We have some of the lowest rates of criminality, highest rates of education, and median income, as well as the highest rates of charitable giving of any religious group. But we demand dignity, not because we are successful, but because we are American. And the premise of America is that we are all treated equally, regardless of race, gender, or religion. And that is ultimately what is at stake today. Yesterday it was LULAC, today it is CAIR, and tomorrow it may be an organization that provides access for your community. Make no mistake, this is part of a larger targeted assault on civil rights and freedoms, and we together cannot tolerate it. As dark as this moment has become, we are so grateful and fortunate to have so many of our partners and supporters and fellow Texans come to our defense. To them I say thank you, and when you have the unions, moderates, and progressives, callous elected officials, civil rights groups, and everyday Americans coming together for a common cause, I say, inshallah, we will succeed. Thank you so much.
What does CPRE stand for?
It stands for the Coalition for Peace, Relief, and Equity. We do advocacy work with young people, with our community, and we do engagement with elected officials. Thank you so much.
We've got one more organization, and then we'll have questions.
All right, it does seem like we have a pause here in this press conference, so we're going to slide away for yet another 2-minute commercial. Thanks for being with us here on Live Now from Fox. I'm your host, Christina Evans. We do want to continue on as we were listening into the Texas Muslim civil rights group known as CAIR, now speaking out after Governor Greg Abbott declared them a foreign terrorist organization. Let's listen.
Help us not to cross our boundaries, and help us when we go back to Him. We see Jesus and Muhammad and all the prophets with confidence that they will be happy with our actions. Ameen, ameen, ameen.
Thank you. Can you spell your name and your role at ISGH?
My name is Ehtishamul Haq, and I am the Central Imam at Islamic Society of Greater Houston, which is called ISGH.
Thank you. Can you spell it too?
Can you? I'm gonna guess the spelling, or do you
Yeah.
want to mention this?
Yeah. The spelling is EHTESHAMUL, and the last name HAQUE, and the title is Imam, IMAM.
Thank you, everyone. I was going to misspell that name. So we've got our CAIR board member as well as attorney here with us to field questions. Before we open the floor for questions, we want to limit the questions related to the lawsuit and the events of this week related to the proclamation. And so both John and I will be fielding questions, and we'll have him introduce himself first.
Good afternoon, everybody. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be upon all of you. My name is John Floyd. It's Johnfloyd. I am a 30-year practicing lawyer. I've also been volunteering with CAIR in one role or the other for the past 20 years. I can tell you that if their governor's allegations were anywhere near correct, I would have nothing to do with this organization. Just the opposite. From day one, I've seen nothing but professionalism, adherence to the law, and a sincere effort to educate the community, to empower the community about their civil rights, and to stop discrimination against the Muslim community. You should also know that CAIR does not just address Muslim concerns. Anyone who comes to us in need of civil rights representation or advice or advocacy, we represent. So it's not just the Muslim community. We have an impact that's far and wide throughout the community. I do want to say a few comments about the governor's proclamation. I won't repeat what you've heard. And I do want to thank all the people who have come out, all the organizations that have come out to support CAIR in this time, all the elected officials, those running for office, county commissioners, state reps, many of our political parties across the state have all stood up to demand an end to this hate and bigotry that we're receiving from Governor Abbott. It's not just the Muslim community that he's targeting. He's targeting black and brown communities and nonprofits across the state, and this has to end. CAIR is in an unusual position as a civil rights organization. We have a strong legal defense team. We have a good PR team, and we're not going to take it. We're going to take a stand against this governor and demand that he stop his bigotry, his anti-Muslim racism against not only this community, but also his racism and his hate, bigoted race mongering that he is using to fuel up the right wing of his base. It has gone too far. He's isolating communities of color. He's turning people against communities, against each other, and this has to stop. Before we start taking questions, I would like to just add this. This governor's proclamation was based on decades-old tropes against CAIR. They've been disproven in court. They've been disproven by CAIR. We've done everything we can to do to respond to these allegations, but they still are floating around. Every time we go have an event at the Capitol, we have these hate groups distribute this material around the legislature. We have them targeting our students who are going to speak at the Capitol, yelling vile things about students, right, who are going to learn how to be active in the system, yelling things against our students about the religion, all with the idea of inciting hate, violence, and again, it just has to stop. So I would today throw down the gauntlet against Governor Abbott. He will have to respond to our lawsuit. We've got nothing to hide. We've done nothing wrong. He is getting this material from far-right hate groups, white supremacist hate groups that he met with right before he entered into this proclamation. It's all over the internet. You can see it. What I do want to offer Governor Abbott is do something different this time. He entered into this proclamation without an investigation, without any due process, without talking to the Muslim community, right? Let's do something different this time. I'll say today that we are asking for a meeting with the governor and his staff. He can come here, we will go there, but it's time to clear this air, because what he is doing is not only unconstitutional, and he has a pattern of issuing unconstitutional proclamations and signing unconstitutional legislation. We've sued him 3 times now. We've won all the cases, and we intend on winning this one as well. But as this case progresses, we'd like to extend a hand to the governor. Sit down with us, get to know the Muslim community, and we think we can clear all this up. We've got to do something. He's pushing the communities against each other. He's stirring hate. And if he doesn't tone this down, someone's going to suffer. There's going to be violence. We have to tamp this down. And as a Muslim community, we're offering him our hand to talk through this and have a meeting with him. So, again, we can't, as a lawyer, I have to tell you, we can't answer any of the specifics about the allegations other than what's in the petition. You'll find all the resources you need online that answer all of the false allegations that he has issued against CAIR. They've been debunked, they've been explained, they've been litigated. You can get all those talking points about the allegations themselves from CAIR. But kind of moving on from there, anything else you guys would like to talk about, we're glad to address.
Floor is open.
What Governor Abbott is doing right now, the proclamation, I guess, the name is escaping me, but how does it stop CAIR from purchasing land in Texas?
So he has made what amounts to an order right now that's saying that he is without any due process, without any hearing, without any evidence, without any investigation, making this designation. What it does right now is if anyone tries to buy property or even engages in a property transaction with CAIR, they are potentially subject to being criminalized, being indicted, and so yeah, there's a real threat of that. I mean, the governor's proclamation, until it's challenged, we have to consider it an order, and so that's why we filed a lawsuit yesterday to put the governor's unconstitutional proclamation on hold, to get an injunction against the governor so that we can move forward freely and conduct our business.
And what kind of indictment would the other party face, or would CAIR face?
Well, and we don't know. We don't know if, to be very honest with you, we don't know if this is a sincere threat against the civil rights organization, our partner organizations, all the other nonprofits in the state that represent black and brown and marginalized communities. We don't know if this is just another threat from him or if he'll take action. So I don't want to say that there's going to be an indictment. I don't believe if they conduct a thorough investigation, there won't be. As part of the criminal process, you would have to prove up these allegations that he's made, and they're baseless. So I don't anticipate, if there is a fair and open investigation, that there would ever be an indictment. But there is a fear, right? And so we have to take that seriously.
So my understanding is that the Dallas and Austin chapters filed the lawsuit. Mm-hmm. Is Houston planning, like the Houston chapter, planning to join on to the lawsuit as a plaintiff?
We are planning. It just took us a little longer to kind of get some of our paperwork together. But yeah, we are joining the lawsuit and look forward to it. There's going to be an amended lawsuit filed at some point as we move further, because we're going to need to flesh out some other causes of action. And at that point, Houston will be on the lawsuit as well. There was a urgency to get the lawsuit filed and move quickly, and so that's why the other chapters moved quickly. We really need to get an injunction in place to stop any more harassment from the governor or his law enforcement officials who might be willing to carry out this unconstitutional resolution or proclamation.
Have you all noticed an increase in harassing after this decision or this announcement?
Yeah, I take in those intake forms, and in the month of September, we received over 30 complaints just for Houston. The month of October, again, over 30 complaints. And this month alone, what's the date today? The 21st, we're already at 50 plus intake forms just for the city of Houston.
And in these stances, just not state but federal, you have the governor designating this organization as a terrorist group, while on the federal level, they're removing, people like the Syrian president and his associates from the list. What do you take from that? What's your response?
So, and I think I've said it earlier, my unfortunate assessment of the governor's proclamation is that he is appealing to the basest instincts of human beings, right? He is trying to divide and conquer. He's trying to use racism, bigotry, anti-Muslim rhetoric to turn communities against each other. You're right, there should be a process that the governor goes through so that as other people are being pulled off this list, you would think that they would have learned that you need to have a process that you actually investigate a group, which at the federal level you do, and there's a process they have to go through to have a group designated. The governor has no federal authority whatsoever to designate anyone as a foreign terrorist organization. That's outside of his power. What he's done is used tricky words in this proclamation that cite the criminal code and cite the property code, all of which he really has no power to do. If he wanted to bring a case, he should conduct an investigation, he should file the case in court, and then he'd have to prove up as part of that case that an entity was somehow banned. He's done none of that. What we know is that he took a piece of paper from these hate groups and that he just turned it from a resolution that's been passed around the country, and we're seeing these far-right people, these white supremacist groups that are giving this material to elected officials, and right now no one is standing up for the rights of the community and a lot of the other communities that are being disparaged. And so we have made no bones about it, that we're standing up, or that we've got nothing to hide. And it should be clear, we are not a terrorist organization whatsoever. We are a civil rights organization that stands up to this government, that stands up for free speech. We've been representing several cases when you saw the protests going on, the students who are being harassed and arrested by Governor Abbott. They gas those kids, right, who are protesting, who are exercising their free speech rights. We've been representing students all over the state who have been targeted by this kind of discrimination. The worst thing that this really does is not so much his proclamation. We're going to fight that in court, and we can do that. The worst thing about this, it is ginning up hatred and violence towards the Muslim community, just as he's doing in other marginalized communities. And so I, again, urge the governor to meet with us. Let's talk about this. And he needs to be the governor for all people in the state of Texas, not just his far-right group of nut jobs.
So you mentioned far-right groups and white supremacist groups meeting with the governor. Can you name some of them?
There are several. There's one in particular. It's called RAIR, R-A-I-R. And there's several people who are affiliated with that group. There's also, I can't remember the lady's name who's running for Congress, Valentina Gomez. She has also been spewing all kinds of hate towards the Muslim community. She's running a race in North Texas. She's put on video burning Qurans as a candidate for Congress. And so there are many groups across the country who are far-right, white supremacists. In addition to that, we're also dealing with the money in politics, right? There is a lot of money in politics that is being funded to your elected officials, your federal officials, your state officials, intending to chill speech. The speech primarily about what's been going on in Palestine and in Gaza, the genocide that's occurring. They don't want us talking about it. They're trying to shut us up. They keep doing it. I mean, I don't know how many of you know this, but the governor right now, we have a statute on the books that says if you want to get a contract from the state of Texas or any kind of benefits from one of those contracts, you have to swear an oath that you will not boycott the state of Israel, right? I don't have any issue with people having a position on Israel themselves, supporting Israel, supporting what they do, right? That's their own conscience that they have to deal with. What I do have an issue with is the governor of this state signing legislation, issuing proclamations, trying to strip away the basic civil rights of a community, to strip away free speech and constitutional protections just so he can pander to that base. He's stirring up hate, and he's getting paid to do it.
Historically, what has CAIR's relationship with Governor Abbott been like? Have you ever spoken to him? Does this recent, proclamation, did that seem like a I guess, an increased focus on CAIR that hasn't been there in the past. Could you talk a little bit more about
I'll
that?
begin by answering by stating that I'm in my 3rd month as the CAIR Houston director, and September, October, I've extended invitations to the governor to come to masajid, to come to mosques, and to meet with the community. So it's an ongoing invitation to him, not just today.
And I know that he has had contact. We have legislative people who work at the State House. We've had Muslim Capital Days where we've had people, students, community members go to the Capitol and learn how to engage politicians, right? An educational experience for the students. We have requested meetings with the governor before, and they've all fallen on deaf ears. And I really don't blame him. We are a free speech civil rights organization. Our policies may differ from his, but if he doesn't want to talk to us about policies, let's talk about tamping down this rhetoric and stopping what is potentially violent.
You mentioned.
I want to be mindful of the time. I'll take one more question from anyone who hasn't asked a question. Okay, go ahead, sister.
You mentioned complaints that y'all have gotten. Though you said some type of tickets. Can you explain what that is?
Yeah, so we have every CAIR city chapter has a legal intake form. It's open to everybody. It's on our website, and you can put in your complaints. And based off of what we see, the bulk of the discrimination cases that come in are harassment in school, harassment in the workplace, harassment while traveling, and harassment with law enforcement. So these are the 4 major buckets that we're seeing. And just from a record, like a statistics point of view, 2024 was the highest number of incidents that CAIR received at a national level. And we're well on our way this year to exceeding that number this year as well.
And just very quickly, aside from the land, purchasing land in the state of Texas, is there anything else that this decree stops CAIR from doing as a nonprofit organization?
No, we are still operating as usual. The day after he issued the proclamation, we had a group of dedicated volunteers and staffers who were testifying before the State Board of Education about their textbooks and trying to rewrite history. And so we are continuing our work. We're proud to do it, and we'll continue to do so.
What about funding or anything like that? Any effects there?
So as of now, we have seen no effects on our funding. We don't have any state contracts, obviously, because we're not going to take any oaths to this governor. But we've not seen any decline in our fundraising efforts, our monthly donations. Although I do believe the governor, by issuing this proclamation, is intending to do that. It's scary, right? The language that he is using is scary. And it's dangerous, right? This rhetoric is extremely dangerous. There are already people on the edge, we have a lot of people who are emotionally unfit. And if they see their elected officials, whether it's the president or the governor, using this kind of language, it could really incite some violence. And so our main ask coming out of this is to please, Governor Abbott, meet with this community, have a meaningful dialogue, give this community due process. If he gets to know this community, he will see, as I think one of our speakers said earlier, statistically, it is the most law-abiding community in the country. And to disparage this community who is just trying to practice their deeply held religious beliefs, all this other nonsense that he's saying about trying to force religion, this is America, you can't do that. Those are all just right-wing talking points. He needs to stop it, and he needs to engage this community, just like some of the elected officials in the city and the state need to. So, thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, everyone. A lot of us have to go to Friday prayer, and it's in about...
All right, as you see there, we were listening into this press conference. Wanted to bring you those full remarks as this Muslim civil rights group known as CAIR is now suing the Texas Governor, Greg Abbott. I do want to put this up on your screen. This is a tweet we have there from Fox News. Some context here is that the governor did declare the group a foreign terrorist and criminal organization as well. And so, yes, CAIR is known as the Council on American-Islamic Relations. They've decided to sue the Texas governor as well as the Attorney General Ken Paxton for designating the group a foreign terrorist and transnational criminal organization. And in that lawsuit that was filed in the West Texas, U.S. District Court by the group alongside the Muslim Legal Fund of America comes after CAIR threatened legal action against Abbott earlier this week if he attempted to turn this into a publicity stunt instead of actual policy. CAIR says that the proclamation, which bars its members from buying land in Texas, is violating its members' constitutional property and free speech rights. So I wanted to make sure we brought that to you here on Live Now from Fox. Conversely, though, Governor Greg Abbott's proclamation has authorized heightened penalties against CAIR and the Muslim Brotherhood and prohibited the organizations from purchasing land. Although CAIR had repeatedly employed, affiliated, and supported individuals promoting and said that they did this. This is what Texas Governor Greg Abbott is saying they supported individuals promoting terrorism-related activities. I wanted to make sure we brought that to you here on Live Now. We're